of that. Much like the show, we make it easy for everybody. The draft is online, so we can participate from wherever you're at. Email the sportsfix@AOL.com and just say, hey, J-Rock, I want to be a part of the Fantasy Football Challenge, and we will see what we can do to get you hooked up with that. And again, the draft, 1 week from today. So I'll remind you guys every day this week and give you your opportunities. We've got more entries than we had slots available. So as I get your entries, I will put them in the hat. I'll draw out the people that get the invitation to the league, and we will rock and roll with it. So anyways, latest, I did some looking around during the break, just, doing some Google searching and put everything under the last hour, looking to see if there's any ideas. I get a kick out of some of the people, and hey, you may be one of them, because I hear from a lot of you guys. And no offense, everybody has their thoughts and their opinions, but man, there are so many closet lawyers and law advocates, legal eagles out there. Man, I get hit up with all kinds of breakdowns on why Josh Gordon's not going to be suspended, and this law and that employment law and this and that, and it's looking good. Meanwhile, Mike Pettin clearly stated, we are positive that he's going to be suspended for part of this season, and we know what's up. I mean, they're not stupid here. I don't get where people think that there is a possibility of no suspension at all. The whole holdup in this thing is the fact that Rosenhaus is threatening to sue the NFL. That's got to be the big holdup in this thing. It has nothing to do with the league anymore, and that's the other part. I think people are confused. Even in that last segment, there are no more hearings. There's no more appeal. There is no other level to go. It's done. He is already suspended. They're not deciding if Josh Gordon is suspended. He's already suspended for 365 days. It is simply a matter of deciding if his appeal is accepted, and if it is, does that cut anything off of his suspension? It's a one-question deal. Is his appeal worth cutting his suspension? Yes or no? That's it. That is the only question up for grabs here. They're not doing all of the breakdown that we've talked about and all of this. That's not, none of that. It's simple as that. And they said 1 to 3 weeks. It's been 20 days. Guess what? Don't be surprised if you don't hear an announcement perhaps tomorrow, perhaps sometime this week as they're down to the preseason. In my opinion, maybe some of this is the NFL doing this despite Gordon and Rosenhaus because of their threats to sue the league. Maybe they're like, you know what? We'll just stall this thing out even longer. You wanted to make things difficult. We gave you the opportunity. There's a lot of things going around, and I did hear that the parties came to the table right after the hearing, and that was where the lawsuit threats got involved, and that's when this thing took a turn to taking much longer. Some people think that's good for the Browns. I think maybe it's the opposite. It could just be, hey, you know what? Cool. We're still going to suspend you. We're just going to make you wait a little bit longer before we show you. And the Ray Rice thing definitely threw a bit of a monkey wrench into it too, because that came out of the blue, where all of a sudden now it looks like Josh Gordon is being punished 6 times as hard as Ray Rice, or actually 8 times as hard, as Ray Rice, when that's not, that is not the truth of it, as we know, even though there's some truth to the fact that it is about pot, but this suspension is not. Had Josh Gordon never been in trouble before, then this wouldn't be happening. We wouldn't be talking about this. We would just be talking about his suspension for smoking pot. So, and I still do not understand. Mary Kay Cabot is misreporting this story from the Plain Dealer. Not that I'm surprised by that, but she continues to insist that arbitrator Henderson can choose the penalty. He's not deciding the consequences. According to the collective bargaining agreement, there are only 2 outcomes to this case, man. He's not re-adjudicating this thing. He's either, yes, your appeal has some basis and we're going to cut your suspension, or no, it doesn't. He's not sitting around going, how many days should we suspend? That's already been done. These rules are in the books. It's like mandatory sentencing limits, that's all there is to it. The judge has no hand in this thing. But anyways, everybody sits out here and floats out here. But so many times, man, stories just run away and take on a life of their own, and that's one thing. But when the reporters send them on that life of their own with misreporting, that's stupid. But hey, there you go, man. I mean, never mind. The 80s called. They want their beat writer back. That's all I'm saying. Browns. That's the latest with them. Tomorrow, we will talk a little bit more. Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan with us. We'll get his thoughts looking into the final preseason game. And more than that, we're talking Buckeyes with Dan, and we'll get his thoughts on the Buckeyes. We're going to preview Navy and talk about the changes and Barrett and how he's been coming along with Braxton Miller going out. Looking forward to doing some football, talking with my man Dan Wismar tomorrow. The first game of the Indians as they get that series going with the White Sox and Cavaliers. Hey, moments from now here this afternoon, Cavs getting ready to introduce a little love to the Cavaliers fan base. The official introduction of Kevin Love as a member of the Cavs. And you know what? We've been talking about bad media several times on today's show, so let me throw one more out there. I saw and our buddies in the Plain Dealer have a guy, and what's funny is this guy also does some weekend stuff for the FM sports talk station in town that also, and he's just not good at that. He's one of the ones that drive me nuts. And a matter of fact, he may have been the one talking about the music at the parade that I was talking about yesterday. But I watched him today do an article where his bottom line was anything less than an NBA championship in 2014 for the Cavaliers is a disappointment and a failure. This is, again, going into that same mindset of the stuff we were talking about yesterday. Nobody's buckled in, ready to watch how this team gels together. Let's see what happens. Let's watch the growth of a team. Even Miami, whose 3-player grouping was better 4 years ago than the current 3-player grouping of the Cavs right now. Even they didn't win it in their first year. But this is part of setting up the fan base for disappointment and anger and all of that stuff. I get you're fired up and you're excited. I'm excited to see some basketball that ends with more wins than losses too. This is going to be a fun season. But why set people up? People read this. They don't know that you're Joe Blow so-and-so and your radio show stinks. They just know that you wrote it and it was printed in the paper. So they take what you say as gospel. And so they go, yeah, man, do you see what the Plain Dealer said, man? Anything less than a championship is a disappointment. It's a failure, man. They're guaranteed to win this year. Why not just sit back and talk about it objectively and openly? And again, I heard this same person railing about, well, who's going to beat the Cavs? Who's going to beat the Cavs? Who, the Bulls? The Bulls? No, they're not going to beat the Cavs. Who? Charlotte? Yeah, that's a joke. These young teams. Washington? Yeah, they're going to beat the Cavs. Nobody's going to beat the Cavs. Cavs just got the greatest power forward in the last 10 years of the NBA. They just added him to the greatest player in the history of the NBA, and they've got the greatest future point guard in the NBA. No team's ever had 3 greatest players ever together like that. Cavaliers are guaranteed to win. Come on, guys. Come on. It's going to be a good season. They may win it all. They may not. They're going to get close no matter what. They're going to have some fun no matter what. Speaking of, $21,630. Somebody shared with me yesterday a ticket for October. Was it the kickoff? Was it the 30th or whatever? $21,630. Who in the world would pay $21,000 to go to any basketball game, let alone a regular season kickoff game? I mean, I get it that there's going to be some nifty fire coming out of the scoreboard, and it's going to be exciting, but $21,000. Man, your kids don't got to go to college or something. I mean, there's not somewhere that $21,000 wasn't better spent than in the 120 minutes of basketball and fire and dancers and music that you're going to enjoy. Man, break that down by the minute. You spent a lot of money on that entertainment venture. Like I told you guys about the price tags. I saw they ranged from $7,000 to about $1,800 for the general ticket prices. But yeah, that was the coup de grace, the biggest one that I've seen. Somebody shared it with me yesterday. Almost $22K for a ticket to that game. Man, that's amazing. It's not even the NBA Finals. We're not talking about, hey, somebody paid $21,630 to go see the NBA Finals or something, or to sit next to LeBron on the bench while the Cavaliers played in the playoffs. But man, to watch the opening game of the season, man, I'm just saying. I hope I'm rolling like that one day, guys. I hope that we get to that level, that one day I'm spending that kind of jack on a basketball game ticket, because if I got that kind of jack, I'll take y'all with me. Oh, see, I got to be careful, because people are going to pull this up, man. I hit the lottery years from now. People are like, J-Rock, where's my $21,000 ticket? You promised it to everybody listening to the show. I'm going to be like that guy the other day. Promised drinks to, every person on Twitter. Now he owes the whole world a drink. But anyways, so $21K for the hey, it's a guaranteed championship, I guess. It just, you guys get it. I'm excited. I could be with it, man. I get you thinking, hey man, Cavs got as good of a chance as any to win the championship. There's nothing wrong with that. And I saw Charles in the chat room. Now, yeah, if you want to say not making the playoffs, that's not just a disappointment. That is a failure with a capital F. I will give you that. Yes, if this grouping does something like that, that's where you could say this is a failure. But to say anything, there was no wiggle room. It was unequivocal. Anything less than a championship this season, a disappointment and a failure. And I 100% cannot agree with that, or cannot disagree with that any more than I already do. In my opinion, you make a run, whether it's to the Eastern Conference Finals or you make it to the NBA Finals and you fall short, I see no shame in that whatsoever. This thing, it's going to come together over the next few years, and whatever it culminates in, cool. That's what it culminates in. But this is the stuff right here, man. Like, why set yourself up? You know why? Because it now gives you something. Hey, if they don't win, now you can spend all summer next year talking about the disappointing failure that LeBron's return was, when he himself said, hey, it ain't happening right away. It's going to take some work to do this. But everybody thinks that went out the window. Like, I love it. He wrote that whole letter, and 30 seconds later, everybody ignored every part of that letter except the word championship. Like, I don't know why LeBron wasted the time to have somebody ghostwrite that for him, because it clearly was ignored, because we've moved into we're winning yesterday. The championship's already done. I don't know if you guys know this, man. They already had the parade without us. Like, they're going to let us join them later, but the NBA has just anointed the Cavaliers the pre-post 2014 NBA champions. They gave them that August championship that nobody knows about. So shh, don't tell nobody. They're going to have the ring ceremony next week. So today they're going to have the love ceremony. They're announcing him, and hey, look, I'm not raining on it. Hey, it's going to be fun. And they do have an opportunity here, absolutely. And I have gone on record as saying I think they win one championship in the next couple of seasons. I do believe that that's going to happen, and we'll see. Maybe it'll be more. Maybe it'll be less. We'll see. But to say that you win it now this year, or all of this was a failure, man, that's just, to me, that's not a route that I would go. But again, it's the same guy who contributes to the same environment of this kind of stuff that we've been talking about, man. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. If you don't want to hear about it, change the channel, change what you listen to, and you'll change your outlook. And listen, I don't know why I'm telling that to you guys, because the people that listen here, for the most part, don't fit into a lot of those categories. So, hey, guys, a great show today. Wrapping things up. Yeah, see? 2.5 hours. I'm never, ever, ever telling you guys I'm sorry for a short show, because I lie every time I say it. I'm going to hit the bricks. Indians back in action tonight is going to be big if they can pick up that first victory. We'll talk about that tomorrow. As I said, Dan Wismar is here. We're talking Tribe, Browns, Buckeyes, preview, and Navy, all of that and more. So enjoy the game tonight, guys. Come on back tomorrow. Let's do it. Midweek, Hump Day Sports Fix. Same bad time, same bad channel. You know the deal, and you know the spiel. We'll see you tomorrow. We love you, Cleveland. Go Tribe. We'll see you at noon tomorrow, right here on the Sports Fix.
Yeah.